Hello and welcome to Speech Spotlight. It has been it's been a pretty busy week, but I hope you guys are looking forward to this to start your week. It's the end of mine, it's the beginning of yours, and I think I've got something pretty good for us. This is Benjamin Franklin's address to the Constitutional Convention back in 1787, and I think this is going to be a pretty good one for us. I haven't read the full thing before, but I'm going to go through it all now with you guys, and then afterwards I'm going to give you my thoughts, opinions, and general analysis of what's going on here. But before I do that, be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on BitChute, same thing. And otherwise, catch me on commutationconstruct.locals.com in order to get some exclusive interaction, as well as a little bit of exclusive content. More will be coming there too as the community grows. So, let's get into this. Mr. President, I confess that there are several parts of this Constitution which I do not at present approve, but I am not sure I shall never approve of them, for having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change opinions even on important subjects which I once thought right, but found to be otherwise. It is therefore that the older I grow, the more apt I am to doubt my own judgment and to pay more respect to the judgment of others. Most men, indeed, as well as most sects in religion, think themselves in possession of all truths, and that whenever others differ from them, it is so far error. Still, a Protestant in a dedication tells the Pope that the only difference between our churches and their opinions of the certainty of their doctrine is the Church of Rome is infallible and the Church of England is never in the wrong. But though many private persons think almost as highly of their own infallibility as that of their sect, few express it so naturally as a certain French lady, who in a dispute with her sister says, "I don't know how it happens, sister, but I meet with nobody who but myself that's always in the right. Il n'y a que moi qui a toujours raison." In these sentiments, sir, I agree to this Constitution with all its faults, if there are such, because I think a general government necessary for us, and there is no form of government but what may be a blessing to the people if well administered, and believe farther that this is likely to be well administered for a course of years, and can only end in despotism, as other forms have done before it, when the people shall become so corrupted as to need despotic government, being incapable of any other. I doubt, too, whether any other convention we can obtain may be... Sorry about that. I doubt, too, whether any other convention we can obtain may be able to make a better constitution. For when you assemble a number of men to have the advantage of their joint wisdom, you inevitably assemble with those men all their prejudices, their passions, their errors of opinion, their local interests, and their selfish views. From such an assembly, can a perfect production be expected? It therefore astonishes me, sir, to find this system approaching so near to perfection as it does, and I think it will astonish our enemies, who are waiting with confidence to hear that our counsels are confounded like those of the builders of Babel, and that our states are on the point of separation only to meet hereafter for the purpose of cutting one another's throats. Thus, I consent, sir, to this Constitution, because I expect no better, and because I am not sure. That is the best. That is not the best. That's a little bit of a mess up. That is not the best. The opinions I I have had of its errors, I sacrifice to the public good. I have never whispered a syllabus of them abroad. Within these walls they were born, and here they shall die. If every one of us, in returning to our constituents, were to report the objections he has had to it, and endeavor to gain partisans in support of them, we might prevent it being generally received, and thereby lose all the salutary effects and great advantages resulting naturally in our favor among foreign nations as well as among ourselves, for our real or apparent unanimity. Much of the strength and efficiency of any government in procuring and securing happiness to the people depends on opinion. Oh, that period's not supposed to be there. Oops. Depends on opinion, on the general opinion of the goodness of the government, as well as of the wisdom and integrity of its governors. I hope, therefore, that for our sakes, as a part of the people, and for the sake of posterity, we shall act heartily and unanimously. Unanimously? Huh. Okay. No, unanimously. I'm being stupid. Shall act heartily and unanimously in recommending this Constitution, if approved by Congress and confirmed by the conventions, wherever our influence may extend, and turn our future thoughts and endeavors to the means of having it well administered. On the whole, sir, I cannot help expressing a wish that every member of the convention who may still have objections to it would, with me on this occasion, doubt a little of his own infallibility, and to make manifest our unanimity, put his name on this instrument. So, it is mentioned in the Federalist Papers that the Constitutional Convention did have a unanimous vote. I believe that this speech here was vital to that happening. Yeah, excuse me for one moment. I need to... Jeez. People are yelling. Sorry about that. I hope you don't hear too much of it. Anyhow, let's get a little bit into this, and I gotta be a little quick about this today, but let's just see. So, first off, Benjamin Franklin is making a very wise initial statement here. He's bringing up his own infallibility, bringing up the fact that he might be wrong, even though he sees problems in the Constitution. He acknowledges that the Constitution isn't perfect, and it likely cannot be, but that it is as good as it can be, and that is as good as it ever likely will be. That is a very generous position to take, I believe. I see this as a very fair perspective for someone who is not fully sold on an idea, to be willing to say, I still acknowledge that this is our best chance. That seems to be the message here, and I really admire this. I admire this aspect of Benjamin Franklin. I do find it funny where he says, he brings up the point that the difference of opinion between the Church of England and the Catholic Church is the Church of Rome is infallible and the Church of England is never in the wrong. So basically, both of them believe that they're always perfect and correct. So I like that he adds in that sense of humor, but it really does kind of drive the point that people are very driven by their ideologies, and they're very quick to think that they are correct. And he does that again with the comment about the French lady who just has never met anybody but herself that's always in the right. He definitely has a way with words to kind of ease attention and help people acknowledge, okay, yeah, we're a little bit like that. Sure. Maybe everyone's like that. So I do think that's pretty good. The thing that came of interest to me, though, was definitely this paragraph here. So I'm just going to reread it real quick for you guys. In these sentiments, sir, I agree that this Constitution, with all its faults, if they are such, because I think a general government necessary for us, and there is no form of government but what may be a blessing to the people if well administered, and believe farther that it is likely to be well administered for a course of years, and can only end in despotism, as other forms have done before it, when the people shall become so corrupted as to need despotic government, being incapable of any other. This is a very interesting line because it shows that Benjamin Franklin really has looked at history. He really has looked at what has led to the downfall of very likely Rome, Greece, and many other great powers and great countries, empires, and such in the past. It does align with the views that were given by Sir John Glubb in his The Fate of an Empire series. It's an acknowledgement that in the end, what the governments fall because they become despotic, because the people become corrupt, they start wanting things, and they start to lose their moral position, and at which point only a despotic government, only a tyranny is able to gain any sort of control, because everything is just too crazy otherwise. That seems to be the message here. And I think that is something to consider with where the U.S. is today, because we are basically at the average lifespan of an empire at this point, maybe give or take a handful of years. So that's one thing to consider. That's one thing to consider. But to me, I believe this also offers hope that as long as we can heal our own corruption, then we can heal the need for despotism within our government and among our people. So after this, it's fairly simple, where he's going about how he doubts any other convention will be able to do as good or better than this, because these are already some of the wisest minds of the country coming together to do what they can to make this Constitution. And if they do it again, if they keep trying, if they keep rewriting, there's a certain point where it's just not going to get any better. Because people are naturally infallible. People do have their own self-interest, and there is no perfection that can be created by man. There are great efforts and great creations, but there is not perfection. So there isn't really too much to analyze here, but I believe the language is important to pay attention to, and I think this is a really good speech for feeling the heart of America, where we know we're not perfect. We're not getting everything right. And we're never going to get everything right. But we can still be great. We can still carry on. We can still unify. And really, what we can accomplish together will be greater than what it will ever be when we are torn apart. And as we're brought together here, we hope that we will be together forever. I believe that to be a very important message for then and for now. I think it is a timeless message. So I am really happy I get to share this with you guys. Let me know your thoughts below. It is a simple speech. It's very straightforward. Most of it's just making the argument that, yes, we all have biases. Yes, there are imperfections, and you know what? There's going to be imperfections. Let's not go out and proclaim about our imperfections everywhere else to try to get our people riled up to come back asking for more. Let's just accept what we have, go forward, and admit that, tell our people that, yes, I have faith in this. Even if we think it's imperfect here, we must act as one and acknowledge that it will never be perfect. So when we go back, we can just handle it the way that adults handle things and just tell our people, this is what we have agreed on. This is what we have. Please look at it, give your consent, and we will work to adopt it. Anyhow, I know this is a pretty short one, much shorter than the first one. I haven't had too much to analyze from it, and I believe I may have gotten through this speech just a smidge smoother than the first one. I'm getting a little used to reading this kind of older language, but it may also just be because it may also just be because Benjamin Franklin speaks so well. Honestly, he speaks so smoothly, and his words do flow easily, even in today's English. The words he used for the most part they're not hard to say. I've actually never read the word unanimity before, so that's why I had a little trouble with that. But in general, it's such an easy read. So I'm glad to be able to share it though, because I do think this is a timeless piece. I think it's a very mature look that any kind of organization can use when trying to come to terms with what they're doing and what they've got to do and what they've got to decide on. So this has been it from me. I'm happy I could spend this time with you, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one. James out.